Nicole is a first-year track and field athlete, specializing in the middle distance events. Her two older sisters and both parents were Division I track and field athletes. Rachel is a second year who also runs middle distance events. Her older sister ran at the Division III level and cites her parents, high school coach, and club coaches as her support system. Randy, a third year, competes in the hurdle events. Randy's mother and high school coach were instrumental in his decision to compete in college. James is a fourth-year high jumper. He cites his high school coaches and peers as his support system. Major themes from the findings: same sport, different game. These are broken into sub-themes: physical expectations and a dime a dozen. The second was transfer of skills. This was broken into two sub-themes: skills from the support system and balancing a student-athlete lifestyle. The sport of track and field is relatively consistent from high school to college. One physical expectation that can affect the transition is a change in technique. James illustrates changes he endured during his transition.
It's pretty rough just the transition because everything was completely different. I jumped 6'6" off of like 5 steps. Like they got me out of like no man's land, having to run from far away to jump. Like mind you, I had only done it for 2 years prior to college, and never had any major problems. You're almost questioning like, why am I even like having these issues while you've got all these responsibilities? That's always in the back of your mind, like why when you're trying to do everything else.
Adjusting to collegiate track and field can mean adjusting to more intensive training. Rachel details her experience.
I've done a little bit of two-a-days toward the end of my high school career because my high school coach was saying like I might have that, so he started incorporating two-a-days over the summer. So I was kind of used to that coming here. Just the type of workouts were mentally tough and physically tough. Track takes up more of your day in college than it does in high school. I feel like it's like my job here. Practice is a little longer, and then there's like the lifting aspect of that, and then having to have meetings with your coaches and stuff like that, and having to have your classes work around that schedule.
To compete at the Division I level, athletes are likely standout competitors in their respected regions, states, or even nationally.
I don't know, I was really, really close to my teammates, so I expected and we were always winning all the time, and it was just like a blast.
Joining a team of accomplished athletes can affect the transition into college from high school. Participants tell us about their experiences.
It was kind of hard to adjust because I was going from like being the top tier at my high school, but then now I'm with girls who were doing the same, like running the same exact times as me. So it's just like, okay, well, you're not that special anymore, you know?
We were winning championships in high school with 3 or 4 people, and those 4 people, there's like 40 of them like on the team. So you're not necessarily as like special. Less support while you're trying to do what you're passionate about, with more distractions, more responsibilities. So the transition was pretty difficult.
Theme 2, transfer of skills. Participants spoke of the ease or difficulty of the transition from the skills learned from the support they had before transitioning into college. First, Rachel describes how she developed a mindset to push through training from her high school coaches.
And I think we had like repeat 200s, and they were like super fast. And we would always ask like, how many more do we have left? You can't think when you run, you just gotta run, just do it. Because when you start thinking, everything just starts tumbling. From him, I learned that just trust yourself and just go.
Randy describes how he learned to communicate from his mother, a skill that benefited him well during the transition.
My barber, for example, if I had a bad hair, like if I had straight hair right here, I would go back to her like, I don't really know if I really like it. She'd say, all right, go back and tell him. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to tell him. Let's just go. It's fine. I like it. You know? It's like, no, go back and tell him. So she really instilled that in me. Like, you know, I shouldn't be afraid to necessarily talk to anyone.
Contrarily, the skills learned from the support system can hinder the transition experiences. James learned how to self-reflect after he applied skills learned from his high school coach.
Because when I got to college, I thought like I was the man. Like, 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 I my mindset was that, like, I'm the best, like, period, exactly the way he would be talking. That's probably not a healthy, like, approach to anything. You have competition. Like, there are people that are better than you. And if you're gonna be better than them, you need to understand your weaknesses and improve those, as opposed to just thinking you don't have any.
But do student athletes really understand what they are embarking on as collegiate Division I athletes? Randy, Rachel, and Nicole all discuss who and what formatted their understanding of being a Division I track and field athlete.
I knew the commitment that it took in high school, and I only assumed that it was going to be even more in college, because I've taken college classes. I knew they were harder, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, if I can barely handle this, how am I going to handle sports on top of that, you know?
I have an older sister who was in college at the time, and she ran for Division III. But even then, like, looking at that, I can tell, and I figured that Division I would probably be a lot harder because it would take majority of your time. Like how they had to, like, get up early for practice and then go to class right after. I mean, thank God we don't got to do that here, but and then sometimes they would have 2 days, like 2 practices in one day, and I was just like, well, I don't know if I could do that.
I don't know, like, yeah, I have older sisters who, like, experienced all that and, like, gave me advice. From them, it made it seem that it was all easy and, like, just get your work done. But I didn't realize how, like, alone and, like, individual it is when you get to college. Like, I could literally do whatever I want, but, like, I gotta do what I need to do, you know, in the classroom and on the track.
In conclusion, the transition from high school to college in Division I track and field athletes is multi-layered. From the physical expectation to entering an environment of other very good athletes, the sport of track and field is different from high school to college. What skills should high school track and field athletes learn as they embark on a Division I track and field experience? The support they receive has a lot to do with how they navigate the first 6 months of college. The people around them, or experiences they gain in high school, formats how the student athlete understands what life is like as a Division I track and field athlete. What skills you deem important for the student athlete to grasp, how to physically prepare the student athlete, and what experiences you want the student athlete to gain are a few considerations family, friends, coaches, and administrators should have before the athletes reach the check-in table.